Hey everyone, it's Allison here at Determined to Shine, and I'm super excited to be here today with a video response to Meadowlark Mystic. We are diving in and looking at some hashtag rainbow decks. The idea here is that I'm going to show you a tarot deck from every color of the rainbow, and I'm also going to show you an oracle deck for each color because Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot did that, and I thought it was awesome, so I'm going to do it too. And because the more decks, the happier I am. So we're going to dive right in and start with decks featuring the color red. So if you take a look at this tarot bag, what's inside might be no surprise to any of you. Lots of red here. In the Queen Alice Tarot by Dame Darcy. I am a Wonderland girl. I have been for a long time now. The deck obviously looks predominantly blue here, but as you can see, I chose it because of the box, the red here, and you know, red is just a very prominent color in many of these cards, as you can see, and just in the world of Wonderland as a whole. When I think of Alice in Wonderland, I think of that Queen of Hearts and everything red and playing cards and all of those kind of things. King of Wands, of course, right? So this is my choice for my red deck. Here's some great red cards right there. Yeah, just a lot of red in this deck, and I love Dame Darcy's art. I think it's the perfect match for the world of Wonderland. So that is my red tarot deck. For the red oracle, I chose the Mother Mary Oracle by Alana Fairchild. This deck is so beautiful and so encouraging, and of course, very red. I love just the art in this deck. It's done by Shiloh Sophia, who is so talented, and there's just a lot of really beautiful art, and the messages in this guidebook are so comforting. I don't come from a Catholic tradition. I was not raised to, you know, pray to Mary or those sorts of things, but this deck has brought me so much comfort and peace on hard days. It's become a practice to pull from it when I'm really struggling, and this has really become one of the oracles I turn to most when my heart is hurting. So that is my very red Mother Mary Oracle. Moving right along to orange. For orange, I chose the Tarot Cats by Bunny D. And this is a deck I really love, but I don't see it very often on YouTube. This was a Kickstarter, and you can see it has some nice orange on the card back and on the box. Two-part box, really fun designs around the edges as well. And these cats are just super cute, and I really, oh, poor hanged kitty. I really just love the art in this deck. It makes me smile. I love her style as an artist, and the majors, as you can see, are bordered in gray. And then we get to the minors, which are all, once again, in this nice orange color. So I really just am a big fan of this deck. You can see I did get it back in order for you. But I think it's so cute and so fun, and it just makes me really happy. And I'm not a cat person, I'm a dog person for sure. But how could you not be a kitty person when you look at this deck? Like, Ten of Pentacles, come on. Who doesn't want to draw that? I'm all about this. So I just love this deck. I think it's fun. I think it's really well illustrated, has nice gilding. The cardstock quality is fantastic. A plus deck. And that is my orange deck, the Tarot Cats. The orange oracle, I admit I chose primarily because of the box. This is the Strange Lands Oracle from Circo Tarot, and this is very out of print, so I apologize. I had to chase it down in a buy-sell trade group and paid more than I want to admit for it because it's just this tiny little adorable thing, but I just love it. And, you know, again, the backs are blue, but we've got this orange in the box, and you can see there is quite a bit of orange used on the individual cards. Does it work? I love that card. Talk, cicada. So lots of orange used on almost every card, at least a little bit of orange. And yeah, I was drawn to this deck from the moment I saw it online. I really felt like I had to have it. And so again, I waited and stalked, and eventually I got to own my very own copy of my very orange, or at least slightly orange. Look at this. Grab a star. So cute. Slightly orange Strangelands Oracle. Moving right into yellow, for the tarot deck, I chose the Janissa Joust Tarot. This is her newest edition. I, of course, discovered it like a week after it went out of print. So this is another one that I had to chase down in a buy-sell trade group. And it does just use this kind of mustard yellow color. It doesn't have that bright yellow that I think of when I think of a rainbow. But I really love this deck. I think it's really unique. It is, I'm going to say a loose Marseille. And I say loose Marseille because the labels are the same as a Marseille card, as Marseille decks, but the artwork is not. And in particular, the minor cards are illustrated, which is not typical Marseille. And so you can see there's a lot of purple and green here. I love this card with the corpse flower. I've seen one of these in person, and actually a couple of times blooming, and it's a really neat experience. So there's really 3 colors used in this deck, 4 if you count black, or I suppose 5 if you count black and white, but you're looking at the purple, green, and the yellow. And this is one of my favorite cards. It's honestly probably the reason I bought the deck, is that card right there, because I see myself in that image really strongly. And I love this one too. And so I just love the way that the yellow pops in this deck, along with purple and green, are my 2 favorite colors that I love to use together. So this deck just had to be mine. And I really do think it's quite pretty. I like that earlier card because I thought like it looks like me, but my hair is purple right now, so maybe this card is me. You can see the labels are not in English. That's keeping with that Marseille tradition, but they are not hard to figure out, and there is a downloadable guidebook that comes with this deck. Again, it is out of print. She is releasing the new edition soon. However, it's not going to be these tall, narrow cards. She's going to a more standard size, but I believe the art will be mostly the same. So that is my yellow Janissa Joust Tarot. For my Oracle, I have the Affirmators Creativity deck, and this deck is a little bit funny to me because I bought this deck after watching an anti-haul video from Lisa over at Supportive Tarot, and she was evaluating this deck and decided to get rid of it and gave her reasons for why she didn't want it in her collection anymore, and I went online and bought it immediately because it works really well for me in my life. You know, I love this bright yellow back. Obviously, this is why I chose it as my yellow Oracle. Not a surprise. But these are affirmation cards, and I had the original Affirmators deck, and it didn't really resonate with me. But I love these because all of the cards focus on creativity, and that's obviously what Determined to Shine is about, right? Like, I always say we use the magic formula of creativity and community and spiritual connection to, you know, find our strongest selves, go out in the world, do brave things, do creative things, and try to shine. Like, life isn't always shiny, but we can always be determined. And Like this bravery card speaks so strongly to that. It says, I may not be a full-blown Gryffindor, but I've got my own brand of bravery. I'm brave enough to show up and try. I'm brave enough to share stuff I make, even when I worry that other people's stuff is better. And I'm brave enough to stop anxiety scrolling. Sorry, Instagram. Even if that's my go-to habit. Thanks, Instagram, because comparison bites. You hear me, Instagram? Hashtag, ugh, bravery takes courage. And I love that. And, you know, this one talks about believing in your vision. And this one talks about the fact that it's okay that you're not everyone's cup of tea, right? And like, that was the thing I had to learn as I started putting myself out there, was that, you know, some people love the work I do and some people hate it, and they're not afraid to tell me that. And that was the thing I had to learn, that if I wanted to have a creative vision in the world, I had to be willing to do it anyway. So these cards, I just really like the messages. Joy the process. You know, I love to create, which means I must love the process of creating. The actual thing is just an end result, a sign they're really doing it and getting it done. Game is over. So for now, I enjoy the game and soak in that process like it's a champagne-filled hot tub. So I just really like, yeah, all of these messages speak really strongly to the creative process, which is something I have to deal with every day as an artist and a teacher and a creator of online courses and, you know, kind of programs for people. And so I just really love it. I love it for my business work. I love it for my personal life. It just makes me really happy. So, and look at this, like, super rainbow chameleon iguana-like thing. Awesome. That is Affirmator's creativity. Moving on to green, I chose the gorgeous Green Witch Tarot. Obviously, green is in the name of the deck. It has these beautiful green backs. I have edged the side in green. This is actually the first deck I ever edged, I'm almost certain. And I was so scared to do it. And then it turned out so deep and beautiful that I just never went back. But as you can see, this deck is very green. It's got lots of different colors in it overall, but I love the forest setting where everything takes place. The Green Man, of course. Just a lot. Look at that star card. So beautiful. The Oak King for the Hangman. How great is that? The Standing Stone, harm none. So, so beautiful. Look at this. This is just an empowered girl. And I wish I'd had that kind of strength at that age, right? I love that the pages in this deck are really young. It just feels really delightful to me. So, beautiful, beautiful deck, Green Witch Tarot. I love this deck for fall and into winter times. I love this deck for anytime I'm not feeling grounded, honestly. Like if I'm just feeling kind of far away from myself or kind of lost in the clouds, this deck is a great one to bring me down to earth. So that is my Green Witch Tarot. For my green oracle, I chose the Mists of Avalon Oracle by Rose and Sarah. And this is a newer deck, and I don't see it very often. I haven't seen it much on YouTube, or even really on Instagram occasionally. But I really like it. And it's got these, you know, it has a brown back, but it's got these nice green borders. And I feel like if I fan this deck out, it is definitely a very green deck. And again, I really like it for that kind of grounded energy, but at the same time, you know, Mists of Avalon, it's very, how do I want to put, you know, it's very Avalon-y. That's like, I guess the way to say it, you know, and it's got keywords on all four sides. The Tor, look at that, with that hair at the bottom. It's so beautiful. I just want to put that card out for a while. That's how I feel every time I use this deck, the Chalice Well. I just want to display all the cards. I'll be like, I'm going to put this one out. I'm going to put this one out. And then I'll draw one and be like, oh, I'll just draw one more. Not because I want a different message, but just because they're all so pretty. So, I love this card. I love all the cards. Morgan Le Fay, Lady of the Lake. So yeah, it's just a very beautiful deck. I love the way it represents Avalon. I had a few different Avalon type decks with that theme and ended up parting with some of the others because I felt that it was really important just to keep, you know, one in my collection, and this one meets that need every time. I don't need to look at other decks out there to know that this is the only Avalon deck I need. So beautiful. And it's green. Moving right along to blue, we're going to look at the Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robertson. Now, this has been just a workhorse of a deck for me, and it's been my most used deck of the last, certainly at least month, if not two. And as you can see, despite the Ace of Wands on top, it is a very blue deck, which makes sense because it does take place, of course, in the ocean. I have it edged in kind of a teal color, so really a cross between that green and blue. And this deck, you know, I have a friend who looked at this deck when I got it, and she was like, it's so soft. You know, it's not a very serious deck, and that is not my experience with this deck. This deck kicks my butt. It tells it like it is. It's strong. It's powerful, and it is, oh, got a reversal there. I just love the images, but every time I pull out this deck, this is actually one of my favorite Fool cards ever, because I love that she's kind of the mermaid coming onto land, and I feel like she looks like Rapunzel and reminds me of Ariel, and just has everything I need in a Disney princess mermaid Fool card. And I know Lisa Robertson, and she definitely does not have a Disney princess vibe in mind for this card, but it doesn't mean it can't mean that in my head, right? Sorry, Lisa, if you're watching. Haha. Anyway, I love this card. I love this deck. It just feels really powerful to me. And again, the messages are always strong, powerful, exactly what I need, on point, and it's not afraid to show me what I need to work on. And at the same time, it's very validating and healing when I need that. So this, again, my go-to deck for July and probably June as well. One of my favorite star cards ever. And I will probably be leaning towards putting this deck away for a little while now that, gosh, I was going to say summer is ending. I don't want to think about that really, but I am finding myself drawn more to head back to earth and out of the sea a little bit in my personal work. But definitely have had a great time with the Mermaid Tarot this July. So that is my blue tarot deck. For my blue oracle, I'm staying with mermaids, and I was going to try not to, but I couldn't fight it. This is a new deck. It's from Hay House. It's by Karen Kay, who also recently put out a fairy deck. They kind of came out right on top of each other. And I'll be honest, I rehomed the fairy deck. The art didn't land for me. And I've had the total opposite experience with the messages from the mermaids. I think I own every mermaid oracle that exists, and this is hands down my favorite. I did the edging in a combination of blue and green glitter marker. So it was every other card. It's shuffled right now, so it just kind of has a nice mixed in look. But half the cards are blue, half are green. And as you can see, once again, under the sea, a very blue deck. The messages in this deck are amazing. The art is powerful. The mermaids are diverse. A bit in body size, not a ton, but definitely have some racial diversity in the cards, which I think is so important. So often, especially in mermaid decks, everybody is white. That is not the case of this deck, which I so appreciate because not everybody is white. But just really great messages. Every time I pull from this deck, I'm just struck by how much it's exactly what I need, or exactly what my groups need. I've used this deck in retreats and in the Joy coaching program that I run, and it has been spot on for everyone. I think everyone in that group has bought their own copy because it's been so powerful in our sessions. So yeah, just a great, great deck. Love it. And that is my blue Messages from the Mermaid Oracle. And we have reached purple, and inside this hand-painted deck wrap that I sadly cannot remember where I got because it was awesome. I think it came with a deck I bought on Etsy, but I don't remember which one. It did not come with this deck. And my purple deck is the Tarot of Transformation. Now, I love this deck. There's plenty of purple in it, as you can see. The deck back is purple. There is a pattern. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, but it's so subtle that I always just think it's plain purple. And the cardstock, sadly, is super, like, almost paper thin. So I want to do some modification with this deck, and I may trim it. There are some great videos out there of this deck trimmed. Particularly, I think Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot did a great job with it. But it's a newer deck for me, so I haven't had a chance to really play with it yet. So I haven't done any of that yet. But you can see a really beautiful purple art, and it's got some keywords at the top of the cards, which not everyone loves, but for me, honestly, I still find that helpful. I haven't been reading tarot that long. I mean, I suppose it's everybody's journey is different, right? It's been a couple of years for me, and I'm fairly confident at this point, but at the same time, I've primarily read for myself in the past and have only more recently started reading for others. And I really enjoy having the keywords there. And I think the keywords are great for beginners. And I really think that the keywords in this deck are particularly gentle and, you know, lend themselves towards healing. So I was just checking. You can see the court cards are healer, master, server, and teacher. So there's no royalty in that. And the meanings are, you know, a bit different than standard for some of them, but I think it's, look at this, healing the planet, healer of discs. I think it's a really beautiful deck, and I would say it certainly meets the criteria for purple. And it's just so pretty and very different from anything else I have. So I really enjoy it, and that is the Tarot of Transformation. For my purple oracle, I chose the Beyond Lemuria cards by Izzy Ivy. This is a pretty new deck, and I'm in love with it. It's so beautiful. Check out those card backs. So gorgeous. I'm in love. And as you can see, lots of purple in this deck. It's a matte cardstock. It just feels real nice. It's one of those decks that look at this. Look at that. Look at that, seriously. I call it the buttery delicious cardstock. Look at this. I can't even, like, I just got quiet because this card silenced me. Because I'm so taken with these images that I can't quite even describe it. I have just started working with this deck. I am excited to play more because this art just sings to me. Like, as I'm holding the deck, I feel like it's humming in my hands. And I know it's a silly thing to say to some of you, but if you've ever found that deck that calls to your soul, you know what I'm talking about. Like, this card again is another one that just, like, oh, it just makes my heart move somehow. And almost every card in this deck does that to me in a really powerful way. Look at this. Look at this. This reminds me of Reiki energy. Really, just because if you've ever worked with Reiki, it's so powerful. Actually, if you're interested in working with Reiki, I'm leading a training in a few weeks. Look for the link in the comments. But, oh, look at this. Look at this. I just can't. If you want to see more of this deck, if you want a full walkthrough, maybe I'll do a pep talk with this deck. That would be fun. Let me know in the comments what you want. Pep talk or creativity, or both. I just want to play with this deck for the rest of my life. All right, that is my purple Oracle deck. I have 2 more for you. So we've reached the end of the rainbow, but I wanted to kind of finish things out by showing you 2 of my favorite, I guess I'd almost call them colorless decks. They're just black and white line art. But they're decks I really love, so I decided to include them. So this just very, it just looks like such an innocent little thing, doesn't it? The Goddess Tarot deck. And what you find inside is not what you would expect. It's by Faye Orlov, and the back is text. I don't like it when decks do that, so that's my pet peeve on this deck, so I may reback it, but it's worth it because look at this. It's celebrities, it's a pop culture deck, and you know, that's not for everyone, I know, but I love stuff like this. And Emma Watson, Page of Pentacles, Carrie Fisher. I love anything that has to do with pop culture. So when I saw this deck and that it was full of, you know, singers, characters, like sometimes, you know, this is Romy Michelle, that's played by Lisa Kudrow and Mira Sorvino. So sometimes it's the character and sometimes it's the artist or celebrity. So that's Lizzo as the sun, Chrissy Teigen, Patti Smith, Maya Angelou, Princess Diana, Sandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy, Frida Kahlo, Lorelai and Rory. That's a fun take on the lovers, right? So I just think this deck is so fun. And Beyonce, of course. Can't have a deck without Beyonce. Well, maybe you could. She's from Arrested Development. Stevie Nicks, of course, needs no explanation. Ariana Grande, excellent choice there. I want to find just a couple of, some of the animated characters. So, Tina Belcher, if I can find her. Where is she? Sailor Moon is in here. That's who I'm looking for. And Lisa Simpson. They might be at the back because I was using those cards in the journal. Angelica Pickles from Rugrats. There we go. Sailor Moon, Miley Cyrus, Michelle Obama, and Simone Biles. And Buffy, and Lisa Simpson, and AOC, and Tanya Harding. Okay, that's funny. And Britney Spears. I'm here for it. I love it. I think this deck is fun. And it's sassy. Let me tell you, this deck pulls out my inner badass for sure. So I have a lot of fun with it. And finally, to show you an oracle, I have the Inquire Within deck. And it's in this beautiful white and gold box. This deck has a very luxe feel. It's almost the opposite of the last one. It's got this gold gilded edges. The cardstock it's an artist card, like really nice. And it just has beautiful messages. And I think these cards go really nicely along next to Little by Little. That just means a lot to me because I've had a lot of times in my life when this was as much as I could ask of myself, right? Like sometimes we make big leaps and we start businesses, or like I jump off cliffs a lot. I joke that, you know, my personal life cards, if I were going to choose them, would be the Fool and the Tower. And that's not because my fool leaps turn into tower moments. I've just had a lot of rough things happen. But I really love taking big leaps, but sometimes, you know, little by little, sometimes we need to rest. And so I just think these are really beautiful. They're great to put next to a tarot reading. They're great self-care cards for hard days or when you need encouragement. They really go next to almost anything you'd ever want them to go next to. So I've just found them to be a very beautiful deck. Love your dark side too. I think that's so important and a message that we often miss. And I will end it there. So that is my black and white deck for you to complete our rainbow. So I'm so excited you stopped by. I will have links to every single one of these decks in the comments, as well as there's links in there if you're interested in learning more about Determined to Shine and what we do. It's there. I have a free art journaling class you can sign up for. Check out my other videos if you want some creative options. Of course, you know, if you enjoyed this video, do all the YouTube things, like, subscribe, hit the little bell, etc., etc., etc. And I also do have 2 live events coming up on Zoom. We've got a virtual Determined to Shine retreat where we play with cards and art and have a magical time together, and that Reiki training I mentioned. So feel free to check those out. All the links for everything you need are in the description box, all the decks and all the extra things. So sending you so much love. Just know that if you're going through a rough time right now, it's going to be okay. We all have dark, dark moments, and sometimes it feels like things will never, ever, ever get better. And just know that the darkness is always temporary, and it is always darkest before the dawn. You are loved, you are safe, you are seen, and I encourage you to remain, as always, determined to shine. I love you a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.